Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our 5th Friday night fight night from Randomised Gaming. I am your host, Random Gamer Dragoon. I am your host, Random Gamer Riven, and with me is Random
Gamer Dragoon.
Okay, apologies for the slight delay. That was due to tech trouble with the Elgato. I was trying to change resolutions to do X3 mode. Unfortunately, this is a interpollinated game, and the Elgato didn't like that and just threw a wobbly and had to restart the PC. So apologies for the slight delay in the stream. I will actually have to edit out the start of the stream in the replay. So we're going to begin with a quick match. I think I'll be Cygnus. This is Zero Divide, the Final Conflict. It was released in 1997 on the Sega Saturn, and it was developed. Yeah, start with the pizza basing, so that's not unlock. It was released in 1997. It was published by Zoom, and it was developed by Zoom, and it was the third game in the series of the Final Conflict Zero Divide series. I think hence the name Final Conflict. This is actually the best outing in the series, it has to be said, but because it was on Saturn and relatively late, it seems to be widely overlooked. There are 2 on PlayStation that did get released worldwide. And it has to be said, this Saturn one absolutely blows the other 2 out of the water. It does include characters from the previous games, but this is just faster, more smooth. It does appear Sega had some involvement with this, and as you can see, it's just incredibly fastly smooth. This is probably one of the most underrated 3D fighters on the Saturn. It is fantastic. Really is good. There's just no words. You see, you get blitzingly quick matches. And you can knock off each other's armour, which does, I believe, increases the amount of damage you take. Like, you can literally turn yourself into both your competitors into cyborg engine stream. So both of us are fairly familiar with the game. We have played it quite a bit, so it's going to be a lot of kicking, punching, and armour being torn off. There's a whole range of characters. Some of them do look very, very different from one another. Each character has their own special sets of moves. One character even has a gun, so he can sort of blast them with his cyber. You have another one that looks like a scorpion, so he can grab them with its tail and sting them. And for this video, we have unlocked the 3 hidden characters. So we have the boss Zula, the final boss X-Tail, which is sort of a possessed version of Zula, and then we have the mascot character Nico, who is Zoom's mascot and who appeared in a number of titles. Supposedly you can fight Nito in the arcade mode. We've never found out how, but it is supposedly not. I found some cryptic guides on some Japanese sites, so I've never quite been able to work it out. But supposedly it can be done. It looks like it's not quite a straight, like just finish it. You will be listening to some absolutely fantastic music in Zero Divide. It is a phenomenally good soundtrack. So I do hope you're all enjoying the music, and actually I'll just adjust the screen.
A lot of the soundtrack in this is remixes of the second game's music, so if you're a fan of the series, you may recognise quite a lot of the tunes from the second and first game.
Just hang on a second, Dragoon. I'm just going to adjust the size for our readers so they get a slightly, because I have it scaled to the SNES size. There we go. Just a touch more, just so they get the full Saturn experience. Okay, there we go. It might be missing a touch, but that's good enough. So you can see here we've actually got some pretty large 3D models. I'm playing as Dragoon, who actually has the ability to breathe fire, as I remember, if I can remember what that is. So this is very much using the Virtua Fighter combat. You can basically punch, kick, and block. We've also got grapples.
And sidestep as well.
It's a very, very good 3D fighter with lots of movement and...
Ready? Go!
and variety. You can move around, dart around, and the background stages are actually fairly well, they're fairly minimalist, but a few of them do have some nice arena stages, so it's quite... Each stage is designed for each character, and they're certainly very stylised.
Get set. Ready? Go!
A couple of characters do this, so I know Dragoon, I'm just trying to remember what his breath is. They do, so they've got a tail slam move. Again, I mean, the animation for them, they're really, really good with the mo-capping and stuff. They do really feel mechanoid. They do look and play very differently, the characters. Of all the Zero Divides, this is also the most balanced if you fancy playing the arcade mode through. Some of them are a bit... What is the word? Poorly balanced is what I would say, to be kind. I think some of them... Basically, the first two are incredibly hard, it has to be said, whereas the later ones are much easier. Just thinking, let's go through red. The next stage. Yeah, if you're watching this stream on playback, I will delete the start, as we had a slight malfunction when I initially streamed with the... So Dragoon is playing as Wild 3, who can actually shoot. And I am playing as the Grappler one. Now he just walked me with the gun. Oh, you... Did I go with a throw? Finally got a connect on a throw.
Yeah, one thing I will say, some of the characters are much harder to connect with the throws in this, especially the bigger guys.
The balancing is a little hit and miss. Characters like Wild 3 do have an advantage with their weapons. You see, they just shot me from range. Going to...
Pressing X does allow you to dodge around, so which is very helpful though. As first aid characters, as you see here, do become a bit of a circuitry mess, which is quite a nice little touch actually. Quite annoying that timeout one. Let's go for Pixel. Characters do have quite an exhaustive moves list in this, although the manual itself doesn't give you a very good breakdown, so you need to have played it quite a bit in the various training modes.
Ready? Go!
Matches are quite short. You can actually... Oh! Yeah, she had her hang on the edge of the arena. So there are some nice stuff. Again, there's some great... There's some airborne juggling in this. It really does play like a... Really does play like just a well-balanced cruising fighting game. We're going to play as the secret character Nico this round. And Nico is Zoom's mascot. He does appear in a few games. He's quite an interesting little character. He's quite another one. Supposedly you can fight him in arcade mode, but I've not yet figured out how to. Again, some great Necrid's another character with some great animation. Nico is actually a perfectly spherical character. It's actually quite nice to see. I think Necro had his drills, didn't he, on the back that you can use.
Go.
Yeah, you can get.
Nico does go gold.
Player one's, if you have two players, then one goes gold and the other goes silver.
Oh yeah, with Nico, he's just, I've never been able to actually figure out how to play as him. Win one for the cat. Yes, the cat is quite an impressively looking character as well. So yeah, it's quite a novelty to have their mascot, actual mascot in the game. So, but he is a nice character. I'll just go through. Yeah, let's do cancer. And you're playing as Zulu, I see, Dragoon.
Yep.
Get set. Ready? Go.
So yeah, the design on some of the characters. Oh, get up there. So yes, you can actually walk off the stages in someone. So yeah, the design of the characters is actually really impressive. You look at how big they are in comparison to characters you see in the other humanoid characters, and they really do look impressive. So Cancer is quite a bit of an odd one to play as.
Time over. Get
But I really do like his design. He certainly there's a really nice sort of big scale figure look. So I've just had all my armor knocked off me. Zulu's actually I think got slightly resilient armor. So
knockout. Get set. Ready? Go.
and you jumped out of the ring there, quite surprising. Done Necrid, done Cygnus. So there's actually 13 characters in this. So I think we've quickly shot through them. They are some really nice characters though. I'll do Tau. And we'll slowly make our way through the stages. So that was. So the stage design is simplistic, but there's something, everything just fits the game very well. It all just really gels well together. Zero Divide is certainly one of those games that it was one of those 3D fighters we picked up quite cheap, and at the time we were just like, yeah, this is really, really. It was quite surprising because having played Virtual Fighters, I didn't think I was going to enjoy it as much as I did. I mean, it is a few years old now. I mean, graphically, people are going to say, oh, it looks a bit dated, doesn't look as good as Virtual Fighters 2. No, it doesn't look as good as Virtual Fighters 2. But it's got some nice damage effects. It looks great. It plays great. It really is just an incredibly slick playing one-on-one fighter. See if I can actually grab you with the tail. It's got like a tail
There
grip.
is a tail whip,
Yep.
yeah.
Knockout.
Oh no, you're doing your side grip.
Get set. Ready? Go.
So I would. It's fair to say if you're a Saturn owner and you enjoy beat 'em ups, this is a Japanese import, but it's highly recommend it. I think. You see, I thought I reached. Yeah, it's. So there I go. Yeah, that's just such a great looking move. The animation is fantastic, but the hit range is a bit hit and miss, I have to admit, with some of the big characters. We probably should extend the time. You don't get a lot of time in arcade mode, do you?
No, I think it's 30 seconds around, so...
Although I actually think it seems like less than 30 seconds. I'm going to time that for a second because I think it's less than 30. I think it's, although it says 30, it is incredibly quick. Because I know how a lot of these timers used to work, and basically they're synced to the frames and not the on Indigo.
Yeah, essentially the story for this game is that each of the characters is a sort of a handle or user navi for the players that are outside. Essentially the game is taking place inside the internet, and these are tournament-based characters fighting it out.
Ready, go!
So let's see if this is actually... You know, unlike you, I'm going to have some honour and not... Oh yeah, this stage actually got walls, so I'm not going to... Oh.
Get set.
So what was his shoot? Because I want to be really...
Down for the...
Oh, it's actually put a circle towards. He does... I seem to recall him having a triple shot as well.
Yeah, I think...
Yeah, his English is down back. Double shot. Wild, you can really cheat. He's a really... You can really spam it with the Wild 3. That shot. I'm not going to abuse it, but if you wanted to, you can literally just...
Time over.
Oh, this is going to be close.
It's a draw.
So it's got a bit like Fighting Vipers and Fighters Megamix, where you have the some stages have walls, some stages don't. I mean, one thing I will say, this game, once you really begin to learn the mechanics, very, very heavy combo driven. You can do some really great, almost flawless, full-on combos that are basically from start to finish. I'm not a fan of them, but seeing them in a game like this, it's actually very impressive to watch because of all the size of the sprites and the arenas themselves. It all works and just gels really well together, which is a really nice thing. I just wish this had been had some coverage more in the Western markets. Fortunately, we were aware of it thanks to the great work Richard Ledbutter, who did at the time on Sega Saturn magazine. He was they did cover it in the UK, so we were aware of it. Hence why it was an early game to actually import. We saw so many people actually talking about it, and it's one of those games you think.
Ready, go!
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to 3D fighters for the Saturn, most of the best ones, Virtual Fighters, Fighting Megamix, Fighting Vipers, got Western releases. The ones that didn't, this Final Fight Revenge, again aren't.
I mean, you had DX Third. There's I think is it Pretty Fighter as well.
There's DX Third, the other one that's
Ready,
Anarchy in the Nippon, which was supposedly done by some experts.
That was meh.
Mediocre.
This,
at best.
of all of them, is by far the best of the ones not released. In fact, this thoroughly deserved a Western release. It is an incredibly slickly made product. I'm trying. You've got to really watch that one because he is. Tao has a really good range when he jumps into the air. You really have to watch him. He comes down hard and he's quite tricky to avoid. So you've basically got quite a big area. You really have to learn the machines in this one because they are very different. This is not like your sort of standard fighter. Because you have all the size and scaling, they can and will play and look very different to one another. And it's something you have to factor in. I'm just trying to remember what... Dragon's Breath. breath attack was, because he has got quite a cool...
Towards B.
Towards B. I'll have to do it next time, because it does look quite cool when he's breathing fire. Another wall stage. Again, you've got some see-through visuals there, and it sort of goes... So, that's the sickness. Yeah, so you notice the walls go sort of transparent as you see as it spins round. I think they're actually using a Z buffer, a clever Z buffer technique, so you can only see them. Cygnus test that spin is just perfect for massive combos of Cygnus. Cygnus is actually my favourite character, I have to admit. Oh, I should have punished you more there. Now, yep, there we go for throw. Although admittedly it was a bit of a slow throw. Oh, damn it.
Get set. Ready? Go.
I must admit, the bosses don't feel that overpowered, unlike some of the other fight games you've done. In this one, they do feel about on par. I don't think Zulu feels that much different to the other bosses. I mean, the other characters. I think he may be a touch more powerful, but he feels that they're all about on par. It's more just about playing skill. And if you play the arcade mode, generally they're all pretty fairly close, I'd say. Mako. Just gonna drag at the dragon. What is the dragon's breath? Towards B, away towards. So annoyingly, the manual only features a couple of moves, which is something I slightly.
Get set. Ready?
Something slightly irritating. Unlike Virtua Fighter, this doesn't tell you a lot of the moves, so you have to. Oh, you've got the evil-eyed Necro. Yeah, so there we go, the dragon's breath. Your Necro had he goes like evil-eyed there. Is it just when he attacks he has like the eyes of... You're like smashing robots.
He gets the evil eyes when he goes to the attacks.
Ready? Go.
Nice little attack there.
He's quite nasty, Necro, because obviously he's much more diminutive than the other characters, so...
It does put him at quite an advantage.
Much in the same way Yoda is in Soul
Calibur. Yeah, so you saw like... I think there was the drag... the flame attack actually... Nice! The flame attack, as you saw there, my flame does go over him, so I can't actually flame him. Oh, come on, Dragon. You were so slow, Draco. I'm complaining to my dragon character, not my fellow. It's just so slow to get that tail whip out. So yeah, I am at a disadvantage because my unique attack, the flame, won't. Well, I think he's got a down flame. I'm sure some characters have issues throwing Nico as well. I think who I haven't played as yet. I think we've nearly each done a full sweep. The music really is good. If you ever have time to listen to the soundtrack, it really is good. Just fantastic music. Everything's so superbly done on the soundtrack. This is Zulu's stage. I think next up will be on X-Tao's stage. X-Tao's a little bit weird. He's like a corrupted version of Zulu. Alright, come on, get it. You can actually, so you can actually I can't quite remember the move, but it's possible if you're the player being downed, I can stamp on you. I'm just trying to remember what. You can also shuffle along the edge, which is quite a nice mechanic. Rare that you can actually get. A lot of fighting games won't give you the chance to recover from a ring out. This does give you the chance, so you can shuffle along and the opposing character can stomp on the other characters they're trying to climb their way back to freedom, although it's surprisingly tricky. Just going for some backwards combos there. I think X-Tail's actually quite a bit stronger than some of the others. Here's the final boss. So again guys, as always, if you're enjoying the stream and you're able to, please do hit that like button, as we always do welcome those likes. I think I've actually, I haven't actually been the cyborg. Should we do X? I think it's just X-Tail stage. Then this is pretty much going to be a free-for-all. So both these characters sort of fast grapplings. Zero is definitely the sort of more sort of bog standard hero character. I think he was definitely. I think most of the characters I think come from either Zero Divide 1. You don't Zero Divide 1 and 2. You don't get the full cast from both games. You get a sort of mix. Can't remember. Are there actually any new characters, or are they largely all taken?
No,
this sort of the remix of the best characters, basically.
Yeah, essentially this is the same cast as the second game with a couple of the ones from the first game, but it's missing Eve and Neon. Is it the boss from the second game?
I think to recall one of the bosses from sort of like utterly overpowered in the second game. That's a launcher there. Come on.
One of the things you can do this is trick your opponent, because you can knock your opponent, and sometimes you'll see us spin you around, at which point then your opponent is facing the opposite direction.
Yeah, so there's a few slightly different tricks to what you see in other fighting games, which makes it a bit more. I mean, this is just so far. I think it's even faster than Virtua Fighters. It really is. But it's Tekken, and it's just you do get a pace. This is one of those games that would be well deserved, I think, for an update. I think they really would be good if they took the engine from this one. So it's fair to say the first two Zero Divides aren't that great of fighters. This one completely eclipses them. Now, I noticed some members of Sega were credited, so I'm not sure if Sega had a hand in helping them develop this, because this just utterly blows Zero Divide 1 and 2 out of the water completely, and I just can't recommend this enough. You can get the first two in Europe on the PlayStation, you can get them in the US, but I can tell you now, this is just head over heels a better game. I mean, arguably some people may argue I think the second game may look visually better on the PS1 in some elements, and some people may prefer the PS1 visual style. I know, so notably there aren't transparencies in this one on the Saturn. I think the PS1 version does, but it's all a bit of a mute point, a couple of transparencies. What really matters is the quality of the game. So I'm trying to remember what signature spin attack is. So he's got that clothesline. This guy's actually, the Cancer I think has quite long reach in comparison to Sickness. Just trying to remember what his... yeah, check the manual. Where is he? There. Oh, way towards BC, that's it. I wanted to do that. Dragoon, what's his spin again, Cygnus?
Down BC.
Oh, down BC. That's it. That's it. Thank you.
Ready? Go.
Because basically Cygnus has that spin attack, which you can absolutely murder a lot of the oppositions with. In fact, if I can get it right. So yeah. The only thing I will say is once you start knocking bits off, it can be because you knock off so much of the armour, the collision remains in place, I think, for primarily the main armour, so it can be a little bit confusing. Come on, yes, yes, yes. That's the other thing, that move does a ton of chip damage. So I'm not cheating, I'm just exploiting the fighting style of Cygnus. Gotta love that chip damage. Necrid. Let's try and remember his moves. You get like 4 moves in the manual. This is one game you do really want to practice. Okay, towards down C, towards B, towards B, towards B, C. Okay, so basically 3 towards and 1 towards down C.
Get set. Ready? Go.
You're one of those fast characters I actually want to try and avoid. Oh, there I went with the thrust, yeah. And just using some of his moves, some of these characters you really do have to learn in the training. He's definitely got a drill move. Oh yeah, that's towards B just there. Yeah, there you go. This is drill. I think because basically a lot of characters. So yeah, that one does an awful lot of chip damage. I just noticed. You will find that unlike other 3D fighting games, you can do chip damage in this. So most 3D fighters, you can't do chip damage. In this one, certain attacks will do quite extensive chip damage. You see there, so I'm literally cheesing it a bit. Okay, sweet. Yeah, you've got to be careful. You can inadvertently flip yourself with certain moves. I suppose we were fighting robots last week and we're fighting robots this week, but to be very, we went from a 2D one to a 3D one. I think at some point we do have the first 2 zero divides, so at some point I think we will go through them both, but we sadly only have them on the PAL PS1, so, and you'll get me when we do eventually get around to doing them, I think it'll be a case of I wish we were playing Zero Divide Final Conflict.
Yeah. Yeah, I've also got a rental copy of the second game. So some PlayStation games you could get rental versions in blue boxes, and my Zero Divide is actually the rental version rather than the full retail one.
Ready? Go.
That's one we actually need to upgrade to a full version at some point. But again, you're trying to shoot me. And that's the thing, his shots do so much damage. Again, yeah, you can do like a triple shot as well, as I recall. And you've got the low shot and the high one, so even old Necro is not safe. Come on, come on.
Get set.
Just trying to remember what his...
Ready? Go.
Yeah, let's look at the chip damage on that. It's a ridiculous amount of chip damage. Yes. I just love the design. You've got all the transparencies going on. You connect with the hits, and you've got the explosions. Admittedly, you have got lots of mesh effects, but it's just nice to see it all in action. Quite like Tao actually. He's quite a good character with this sort of crew. And actually, I suppose it's quite good because you can have the big characters fighting it out, and you don't get. There's no. The one thing I will say, there's no frame rate loss with Zero Divide. It does hold up the frame rate incredibly well. It holds up the frame rate incredibly well, even with the big characters. It's one of those Saturn games that I think from a technical perspective is actually very impressive. It's probably a bit passed over because it wasn't developed by Sega, it wasn't released in the West, it was only released in Japan, it was released in '97, and the Zero Divide series I think had sort of run its course by then, so I think the second game had been quite heavily... I don't know how well they'd actually done on the PS1. I think that might have been partly why the move to the Saturn, because I think by that point... But there's definitely... This just plays such... It's a very slick fighter, as I mentioned. You've got some nice sort of like visual effects on Zoo's horns there. You'll see them sort of raging colours. So there's some great sort of visual effects as well going on in 3D. They do some really nice effects. This is really is a game that I think a lot of people need to just love a bit more, basically, because it is such a good fighter. And there's quite a lot of extra content. There's even you can even unlock a mini version of Thalak, the SNES shooter, or the arcade shooter Zoom did. It's only like a one-stage version. It's only got a little black background, but it's a nice little like joypad test, which is quite fun to play. So there's some nice subtleties with this. Zakat Nico. So we get, oh, you hit B there. So we've got the Cat Nico versus, I can say, oh, do Nico stage next time. So basically you can select Nico stage by holding down, is it Eleanor?
Yeah.
Eleanor over, you have to unlock X Tower stage. So if you want to know how to unlock the bosses, they're just time unlocks, as I recall, aren't they?
No, I think you have to finish the game. So Nico is time unlock. You have to play as the game for 13 hours. The other two, I believe, unlock once you complete the game once.
Oh yes, yeah, you unlock X Tower. Was it complete the game with one character? And I mean, Nico is basically, as you said, Nico is the Yoda because he can basically skip. He I think. Can you?
You can't throw him.
You can't. I don't think I can throw you there. I just. Yeah. So yeah, he can't throw, but I can't be thrown either. So Nico has a few advantages when you play as him. He has said he is Zoom's mascot. Zoom's mascot, the developers. He even appears in the opening splash at the start, and he appears in a few other bits in the game as well. It's just quite fun. Really fun-loving character. I beat him up with basically, there aren't too many fighters with a super deformed cat, but this has them, and he's a great character. Probably Pixel. No, it's the. I think a lot of them have the sort of. There are a few characters with EOS. Characters that use sort of terminology for sort of PCs and stuff, although some of them just have slightly odd names as well, or names related to the characters. Yeah, Nico stage is unlocked when you unlock Nico. The test modes, like the mini Thalak, have to be unlocked. I think some of them were hour related plays. There's a few weird and wonderful cheats. Supposedly there was one that said if you played the game for 200 hours you got an alternative title screen, but when I did some checking on Japanese cheat websites that didn't show up, so I think that's some bogus joke one someone's put in at some point. You can unlock a history mode. I think you have to hold X, Y and Z when selecting, and you can unlock a hidden like history mode where it details the backstory. Or was it includes the backstory for the first two games, but you can unlock the backstory for this one. Admittedly, it's all in Japanese, but it's another little extra. There's actually, for a Saturn fighter, this does have a surprising amount of content to get through. So it's not just, you won't just finish this game once and have everything unlocked. You are going to have to play it a few times to really master the game and put some playtime into it to unlock everything. And this is coming from someone who we did actually have to unlock it twice because we had an incident one time where our save file was inadvertently deleted. Just to change character. But see, there's some great zooming effects as well. It really holds up well with the sort of animation. It's just, again, you cannot fault for the... Oh, I'm going to actually be the other boss. Let's do Zulu versus X-Town. Didn't want to go for pizza time. Literally, that is Nico's stage. We're fighting on a pizza with like a weird Italian background. So, if anyone does know how to fight him in arcade mode, please let me know. We think you can fight him in arcade mode. A little while back, I was scanning Japanese cheat sites, and they suggested you could, but it was a weirdly explained thing. Apparently, you had to lose certain matches and win others, and do something, and you could apparently end up fighting him. His node's in the mode, but we've never been able to do it. But certainly, it doesn't appear to be as straightforward like Akuma just do really well. It does appear to be you have to do something a bit wacky to get to him. So X-Tau is actually the corrupted form of Zulu. Basically implies Zulu's being corrupted by a virus, and actually I think the premise is he wants the other characters to actually bump him off. Hence why X-Tau, you'll notice some of his design, like his leg design, is actually the same as Zulu's, because basically when you fight, when you beat Zulu, you see his like top half rip off, and then he becomes X-Tau. The sort of thread, freaky bio-organic monster. Should we do a big guy v a big guy just to show all the big guys clashing again? It's just nice to see because it really is impressive with how much of the screen they take up. So, pizza time! So this is Nico's stage again. It's slightly, this one's a bit of an odd stage with the weird background, but it's good fun. See that a very out of place stage in Nico, so not futuristic. We have an Italian pizza shop. Like I'm just trying to. Does it say something in the background? It's really these big. When you're fighting with the big guys, it really is impressive just to see this. So can I do a throw? Come on, yes. So yeah, there's some proper like zooming slams. Like you see there, they pick them up and whirl them all around. Something you don't see in other fighting games. You do really throw them around the arena in this one. And again, you have armor. I think visually this is probably better than fighting Vipers. It's something you may prefer, but just the design of the mechs just looks really there. Full on slam, whirling them around. Again, you've got all the animation. It's just all the parts. Everything just comes together very, very nicely with. And each character does feel very, very unique. You feel like everyone's very different to one another. It doesn't feel like some fighters you can feel a bit like Mortal Kombat. Infamously, almost every character originally had a fireball, so you could literally just call it Hadouken fighters, as we jokingly sometimes did. And Street Fighter, you've got a lot of Ken Ryu clones that are very predictable characters, whereas this, everyone has a place. Everyone's very unique. And everyone's very different. It's just really impressive to see in a Saturn fighter. But only real qualm, I think it doesn't have a training mode, does it? I think that's what
yeah, no, there is a practice
mode. It does have a practice mode.
But there isn't, aside from arcade and verse, there isn't much else, and there isn't a survival mode,
no,
challenge mode.
Actually, I think, did it have a time attack, or is a time attack in it?
Yeah, I think there might be a time attack.
Could do have a survival. I think it could.
Yeah, there's a time attack modes.
It's been a while since I played it, so.
Training, time attack. Story, verse, one player.
Get set. Ready? Go!
So yeah, see if I can actually breathe. Yeah, so there's his flying attack. Actually in action. I think your guy I think can actually tower. I think is one where he like whacks his tail forward. So again, you actually really got to be careful with the evasion. You can. I'm trying to dodge around you.
Get set. Ready? Go!
So yeah, you have this whole sort of move around characters with the. Again, they're just trying to get up. So you can, like I said, slide around. All really good fun. Again, guys, if you're enjoying the stream and you can do, please do hit that like button. And if you're not a subscriber to the channel and you like our content, please do hit the subscribe button. At the moment, with the current UK situation in place, we are doing weekday streams. I'm not streaming on the weekend. I'm doing standard videos on the weekend at the minute. So usually we do 2 to 3 videos a week. But the minute I've been doing streaming, I've actually got a big review planned in the near future that's been taking up almost all my time at present. But it's nearly done. And once that's come out, I will get some normal thing. I think once that's come out, I will do. So I've been meaning to do a video playthrough of Blazing Tornadoes. I will probably do a playthrough of this as well, which I think some people will appreciate. I think an arcade mode playthrough of this would be quite good, and I think I'll definitely do Time Splitters 3 as well. Do a bit of practicing, and then actually just do a blitz through some of the stages.
So do 04.
On- I think each kit. I think each of the colours relates to the character, doesn't it? So
yeah. Well, the 0 stage is number 1.
Get set.
I think this might be Pixel stage, or not Pixel. Yeah, no, I think this
This
might.
is one of the female characters.
Yeah, I think this is Pixel stage because she's the yellow robot. Yeah, Cygnus is a really, really good character if you want to demolish them. He is my personal favourite because he's got like that move which just absolutely destroys their health, even if you don't connect with it. And he's a really fast combo character. So he's generally, if you want to do well with if you're a beginner player, I highly recommend Cygnus. You can do some great combos with him as well. Great sweep kicks. So yeah, the AI can be a bit defensive. I mean, you can be cheeky and use wild, like Dragoon keeps doing, trying to shoot me with wild. I think he's got a 3-way bullet shot as well. He's definitely got one where he fires like 3 or 4 bullets, I seem to recall. But I'm not going to let you do that because I want to win this one. With that great slam as well. He's a really fast character. You definitely feel it. The pace of this game is it's incredibly smooth, 60 frames a second.
Though that said, I think the faster characters in this do have an advantage when playing.
Yeah, there's definitely a tight advantage for someone just being able to just hit quicker with the priorities. So again, guys, if you've got any suggestions for our Fight Night streams, please do drop a comment. You got anything you'd like us to see in the Fight Night streams? I'm always happy to take on board your input. I think at some point we won't just do fighting games. We might do a few other verse games. Basically, I think Fight Night will primarily be verse games, but we will do games where basically you don't. So I think we may do the odd driving game with battling out one another, etc. As long as you can effectively face off against. Oh, he's got a missile launcher. They've got some really cheeky attacks, some of these characters. Just launching a missile. Does that do chip damage? And he throws bombs as well. Okay. Just for a bit of variety. There's some really good moves of some of the characters. The bigger characters definitely have the... okay. And this is the thing about you can actually move around with the... I'm actually going to try and win this one back in 5 seconds. We can do it. It is possible. As I said, this is a really fast... Oh! Oh!
I didn't realise he had missiles.
No, that's what I call it. There's missile bombs. So yeah, there's a huge variety of slightly crazy attacks. I think the scorpion one's got something odd as well, because he can definitely, I think he can project his tail. You can definitely stick it out in front and do some sort of whirl attack. Let's see, remember what he can do, Tao. He can definitely do something. I can't remember if he can do some sort of like
Cygnus again, just because they're the two biggest ones.
Oh, I get a really big character fight, yeah. So this is just to show you the two big guys battling it out. Poison, immediate effect, Tao. I think he's got some poison attacks as well. So yeah, you can see here, you've got two massive,
Ready?
I mean really big 3D sprites on screen, all textured. That's probably the down C attack he's got. Yeah, he's got one to like use the flip. So that kick. Ah, there you go. And his other one where he does that. Drops you round towards C, towards
Ready?
Circle attack.
Go!
a couple of them got, some of them you have to do practice, a few of them. Just trying to remember exactly what some of the attacks are. I'm sure he had one, I'm sure Tao has one where he like puts his tail forward something and just like whips it. Yeah, so like there he's just doing a whip. Yeah, that's it. The AC one where he does the whip round with the tail.
Get set. Ready? Go!
So basically you do like smash. Yeah, that's the A and C together. I was going to say I thought he used some sort of whip attack. Again, you're firing rocks. So yeah, you've got a. Admittedly, the characters and projectiles do have a little bit of an advantage on certainly on stage like this. Not so much because you can close it. You can keep close with the walls, but when they do get, if you back off, you can be a bit cheeky, like you're about to do now. Up, jump, oh, dodge. I'm lucky you're not a good shot there. I think it's a bit sort of random if they hit or not, but. So we'll carry on for about another 5 minutes and then we'll finish. I think we'll go. I think we've done a lot of fighting tonight, so we'll do a few more mounts before we finish. Necrid. So I mean, this is not. If you are looking to pick this up, this is not that expensive to buy. It's certainly. I think it's in the. I think it's still about 30, 40 quid. I think. I don't think it's still that expensive to buy. It's still, you may even get it for less.
20, I think. You get
This is
it
still about 20, so it is actually still very, very cheap.
Get set. Ready?
It's definitely one I would highly... If you fancy a fighter, and if you're bored to death of Virtua Fighters and Fighting Vipers... So, of course, Virtua Fighters 2, Fighters Megamix, and Fighting Vipers are probably the cream of the crop. Oh, and Last Bronx as well. They are what I would describe as the cream of the crop on Sega Saturn 3D fighters, but I think they're shortly followed behind this. In fact, this has probably got much more content than, certainly than Last Bronx. As much as I enjoy Last Bronx, that was that was quite bare bones in Europe. In Japan, you had that, you get the bonus training disc. Although that's not actually, although they had the fully like voiced over disc, it's not actually that fun. So yeah, I mean, you got some the way like characters like he walks. You see Necrid with his sort of movement. It's really just the time they must have spent doing this. It's just a really impressive game. They do feel very individual, the characters. Certainly some are easier than others. Certainly the ones that can shoot, as mentioned, have an advantage. Some of them with weapons and spinning combos. There is an element of chip damage, cheating to some degree, I think. But you know what? This is not a game you see being played at tournaments. It'd be one that I think would be quite good to be played at tournaments because it's such a good fighting game. It really is a good fighting game. I'm just going to be brutal with the chip damage now. Come on, get with the chip damage. Get that. Yes, yes.
Because I popped out meant to do the smash.
Okay, I think we're going to do a few more and then we'll finish. No, I'm going to play as Wild 3. I haven't played Wild 3. You keep playing as Wild 3 and trying to shoot me. I'm going to shoot you back. Was this the stage we just did?
No, that was Cygnus's stage.
There's a couple of ones that are actually sort of reddish, so yeah, this one's. I think this is. I think this is Tau or Cancer
This is, yeah, I think this is Tao's
stage. This is definitely one of the bigger. So you've got walls here. I love the way they do. I think it's a Z buffer tricking they're doing. So yes, the transparencies aren't. The no transparencies or mesh effects, but the way they actually do with the camera spin, and it's actually a trick I think other developers could use, where I think they're using a Z buffer trick, where one side you don't see the textures, and on the other side, in fact they may have they probably likely haven't textured them, but on the other side they have done, so that way you can then spin it round and see through the walls as you're fighting as the camera changes. He's a really good cat. Get off! Get up, get up. It's actually quite hard to stamp on characters. Yeah. Come on, get up with the attack. Get up with this. Oh! You can actually do. I think I did a sort of spring there attack as well. So you can do recovery attacks. Ooh, cheeky down.
The fatal up jump is about the biggest mistake you can make in any fighting game, because then you will be on the receiving end of some punishment.
Oh, the straight up jump, yeah, that's always... basically, if you just do that, you're always going to be in trouble in a fighting game. See, this is what I mean about we're literally down to the last... We've literally got no armour left, either of us. Oh, nice little back shot there. Ah, yes. Apologies there from some mild language from Dragoon, but... nothing too bad. Well, at least it guarantees our streams are not intended for...
Well, it's 11, nearly 11 o'clock, so...
Yeah, it's streaming late. Although that depends where you are in the world, I should add. I know we've probably got some young people. Could be viewing us from elsewhere in the world. You know what, I'm gonna pick... Let's go for a cat fight with the two female robots. Should we call this the last fight, or
okay, we can do this.
Or do you want to do a few more, Dragoon? Or
I'm fine if you want to do a couple more. I don't mind.
Okay, I don't mind hosting a few more for a bit. We seem to have quite a few viewers, so again, guys, if you are able to and you enjoy our content, please do hit that like button. It always helps with our channel sorting. Although I know you can only like if you're actually logged in. So, and if you do like our stuff and you haven't subscribed to the channel and you do want to keep up with us, please do consider subscribing. Unlike some channels, I'm not going to tell you that right at the start of a video, because I think, you know what, people need to get to know if they want to see our content more or not. Unlike some channels like, subscribe, hit the bell, subscribe, hit the bell. It's like, yeah, that gets a bit repetitive. Especially the first thing in the video where they're like, subscribe, hit the bell. Nice little back attack there. This is really fast. I mean, you do have shadows, although the shadows are probably the weakest thing. They're literally just round circles. But you have so much in terms of the sort of inertia damage of all the green sort of the blasting effects. There's an awful lot of UI effects and visual effects going on top of all the armour falling off and just fragmenting everywhere.
Ready? Go!
Oh, nice little airborne throw with this sort of arm breaking move. So again, we've got lots of... I definitely think having slightly less armour does penalise. Yep, down punch there. You can, most characters can punish on the ground as well. I've not been doing too many ground punishment attacks, but...
Get set. Ready? Go. Ring out. Get set. Ready? Go. Knockout. Get set. Ready? Go. Knockout.
Why? I told you. I don't have much time for this.
Okay, so we're going to do cheese character versus cheese character now in a Nico v Nico fight.
Get set. Ready?
I think there was some slight differences. I think this, yes, the silver. You're right. One will be silver when you start knocking armor off, and one will be gold. Zero divide the final conflict, Ray Batson. So actually, I'll just type it in.
Knockout. Get set. Ready? Go.
So yeah, the one Nico's silver, one Nico is gold. And you knock the armor off. That's the only difference between them, I believe.
Knockout.
Oh yes, yes.
Get set. Ready? Go.
Yeah, this is Zero Divide, the final conflict, the third game. Nice little. There is actually a nice little lighting effect on the silver as well. Actually, in fact, the sheen slightly changed. You notice that the sheen changes
basically.
where you are, so that you've got some proper lighting effects in this as well for a 3D fighter. It's actually, as I said,
Oh, it's got a charge attack.
yeah, they've got quite a few. It's just a really for a 2D fighter, 3D fighter on Saturn. This has got some really impressive effects, like that lighting effect there. Depending where you are, you actually have light on the different robots. So, and I can't even think. Virtua Fighters 2, I don't think actually has. Although it's got lighting, I don't think it has dynamic lighting where it changes where you're standing.
Best sickness zeros, those are our best characters.
Well, to actually have a round out brawl, yeah, we'll do our strongest two. So. Okay, here we go. This is going to be our final fight, guys. So thanks for all watching. I'm playing as my strongest character, Cygnus, and Dragoon is playing as Zero. So let's see, we're both a bit familiar with the moveset now. Just actually remembering. Sweep, yeah. Cygnus really is a good character. He can do some great. So that's a nice little airborne combo there. Try and see. Oh.
Get set. Ready? Go.
I mean, you do have an advantage. Cygnus has some great, he's got some great range attacks thanks to his batons. He really is a good character. Again, the animation is fantastic. So, if you are a Saturn owner, I can highly recommend this. I said before, I highly recommend this. If you're a Saturn owner, do seek it out. Zero Divide, The Final Conflict, the third and final game in Zoom's Zero Divide series. The first two were released on PlayStation, but the first two are not a patch on this one, it has to be said. Most of the characters from the first and the second do reappear in this, but there are a few characters missing. Yeah, I think it's fair to say both the first and the second game just aren't as... they're just not as smooth or as fast playing. Just everything about this is just slightly better than the PS1. So I think Sega may... Oh, timeout. Rematch routes. You settle this without... We want a proper fight. No, timeout. We'll do one last one. Timeout. How can we end on a timeout?
You can click the continue option.
Oop. We'll just rematch.
We'll do the, as that was my home stage, we'll do Sarkonis' home stage advantage.
Get set. Ready? Go.
Right. So thank you for watching, ladies and gentlemen. After this fight, I will finish up here. And as always, if you like our content, please do hit that like button. And if you're not subscribed, as I just mentioned, subscribe to the channel. If you like our content, we will be doing more weekday streams. We will be back next week with another Friday Night Fight Night. And if you have any suggestions for what you'd like to see us cover in Friday Night Fight Night or in the weekday streams, please do leave a comment in either the community page or just comment on one of the Friday Night Fight streams. We can see pretty much every comment. Just directly post a fresh comment. Don't do replies because we can't actually always see replies. Annoyingly, there's a bit of a bug on YouTube where it won't show replies to comments, so often you get replies like months like, oh, I did not. So don't reply, just put out a fresh comment. I'll probably put up a thing on the community page as well saying got any suggestions as well. Probably do that weekly. We will continue them while the current situation in the UK, just to keep everyone a bit cheerier. Yes. Well, I was talking, so I was doing my random randomised gaming shenazzle, so to speak. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that has been Zero Divide, The Final Conflict on Sega Saturn. I hope you've enjoyed this Friday Night Fight stream. Thank you for everyone who's been with us. Thank you, Ryu Bateson, for commenting. As always, we do appreciate you all and your comments. And yes, this is Zero Divide, The Final Conflict on Sega Saturn. So we'll be finishing it there. Thank you for watching. I have been your host, Random Gamer Riven, and my co-host has been...
Random Gamer Dragoon.
Oh, and for the record, I should have said I was player 2 and Dragoon was player 1. So I think you well and truly won this one this time round. But never mind, player 1 absolutely thrashed player 2. Yes, so Dragoon was player 1. I was player 2. But thank you for watching, ladies and gentlemen. Have a good night, good afternoon, good evening, or good morning, wherever you are in the world.